Okay, so you have two types of safety car. You got the virtual safety car, and you've got the full safety car. So let's start with the virtual. Virtual basically means that there's an incident on the track, somebody's gone off. Now, most of the time, it's not a big accident because the drivers have to slow down to 40% of their speed. So let's give you an example, and I'm sure you've seen it in Formula 1 anyway, guys, okay? So you probably know what I mean, but it's 40%. So they'll have a certain limit that, okay, if they're revving at 20,000 revs, they've got to bring it down to now, what is that? Jesus, heavy math. Like 8,000 revs. Okay, and they have to keep it at 8,000 or just under it. Now, it's a fine line. It's a tough one because you got to keep as fast as possible without going over the limit. Now, most drivers are fairly good with that anyway. The team can help you with that, I think. I'm pretty sure they do. It'd be fairly dumb if they can't. And normally that comes out when there's just a little incident. So in other words, a driver might not have had a crash. In other words, the car is still in one piece. They might have just pulled over to the side of the track and they're not blocking the track. Now, they're off the track. They're not blocking it. But still, you never know what happens if some guy comes around the corner and bang, you know? So normally it would happen if they go into a driver, let's say stops on a main straight. Now, there could be a little bit of extra tarmac on the left or right-hand side of the track. The driver pulls in, and then all it takes is just a couple of stewards, marshals, to come over, push the car forward maybe 100 meters, 100 yards, and then just tuck it in behind an Armco barrier, right? So in other words, they can get to it. They can get the car off the track fully within maybe a minute or two. So that's why they'll go, okay, lads, we don't need a big safety car right now. This is just a quick incident, in and out sort of thing. And then it just saves a lot of hassle exploring, getting the safety car in the track. So the full safety car. So the safety car, we'll go through what that means first. So the full safety car, all the drivers have to pretty much grind to a fucking halt. So what happens is the safety car will deploy onto the track. Now, his job is to find the leader on the track. So in other words, the FIA, will get on the radio to the safety car driver and say, okay, safety car deploy. He'll come onto the track. And then what the FIA will do is they're in the tower overlooking everything. They've got all the cameras there. Now, they're going to be doing one job, getting the safety car driver to pick up where the lead driver is on the track and stay in front of the leader. Now, this might be obvious to some people, maybe not. So he's got to locate the lead driver. Right now, the lead driver, the problem is the lead driver could be on the other end of the track. So what happens? The safety car driver will just nicely, slowly come onto the main track. What he'll do is he'll pull over to the side, he'll have the lights going, but he'll let all the other drivers pass him. And then, once the lead driver comes along, the lead driver knows that he has to stay behind the safety car. Now, of course, the safety car driver is getting help here because the tower is radioing to him, telling him, okay, Max Verstappen, he's 2 corners behind you now. Be ready. Okay? So he knows now I'm going to pick up the pace. So especially if there's other cars behind him that are not the leader, he has to let them past. All right? So, the interesting thing about Abu Dhabi, guys, if you remember, that was one hell of a fucking showdown. It was unbelievable. I mean, it really goddamn was. If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, I suggest you check up YouTube where the championship was down to the wire. Verstappen, Hamilton, whoever wins is the champion. Came down to the last lap. And as we all know, the safety car actually really dictated the pace. Now, Red Bull did a cute move. They got into the pit lane before he got back on the track, got the soft tires on. He knew it was a 1-lap fucking sprint. It was everything or nothing. All or nothing, you go and that's it. So, what the safety car was doing here is, yes, Hamilton got screwed that day. Yes, he did. If you want to call it got screwed. However, here's what happened. So the safety car picked up Hamilton in first, Verstappen in second. Okay? But the problem was, there was cars in between them. Now, Verstappen went into the pit lane. He came back out. So, safety car was in front of Hamilton, because he was the leader. So, Hamilton was right behind the safety car, but then there was other back markers behind Hamilton. Now, they're not in second, third, fourth. They're literally overlapped cars. So, what the safety car needed to do was, technically speaking now, was, oh, okay, I've got Hamilton behind. He's the leader. He stays where he is. The lapped cars should have overtaken Hamilton and the safety car and just continued on driving along the track. And then maybe a lap or two later, then they rejoin the queue behind the safety car, but they stay in their position. Now, I hope I'm making sense here when I'm talking about that. Because they have to overtake because Hamilton's in first, but those guys aren't in second, third, fourth, fifth. They're overlapped. So what happened is Verstappen needed to get back up to behind Hamilton, right? That would have been the natural order of things. Now, it was a fuck up because it was coming on to the last lap. Now, Mercedes were trying to keep the cars in fucking position. Now, technically, if you're letting those cars overtake, right, which the safety car did, he said, no, we're going to have one lap of racing. I'm going to let those cars in between Hamilton and Verstappen. I'm going to let them proceed on, overtake, and continue on racing, which he did. Now, in technical terms, if he's going to do that, he has to let the other cars behind Verstappen do the same. So he should have let the whole entire field. The problem was there wasn't enough time because when they finished that second last lap, they were going to do? They were going to continue on the last lap. So what he did was he let just a few of those cars past. Then he said, okay, that's enough. Now, like I said, technically, he should have, if he's going to let them, the other ones, a certain amount of them do it, they all have to do it. But he didn't do it this time. So, but again, problem was, he did half of a job, right? Now, like we were saying, Hamilton did get screwed. Now, the problem was that this was a showdown between these two guys. No one gave a shit about the other drivers this day. No one gave a fuck, right? Now, the problem was, if the safety car driver did not let those back markers through, Red Bull would have caused fucking war. The world of F1 would have caused fucking war. There would have been war, okay? If what he did then was that he let them through and he let the two boys race. So he did half the job, but the problem is then it swings the other way. Now what happens? Mercedes were trying to cause fucking war. And quite honestly, guys, this was one such bizarre fuck up of a situation. He actually did the best job he could because he said, you know what? I'll do half my job here, but at the end of the day, if I let Red Bull and Mercedes fight it out for one fucking lap, well, it's up to them. Best man, winner takes all. You guys can decide, not me. Now, it wasn't that he took the pressure off himself. He decided he'll let Hamilton and Verstappen battle it out themselves. Why not, right? You know, like if the two boxers are in a ring, well, the two boxers, imagine the two boxers going, well, what do you think, ref? Who wins? Who wins? Right, in a weird situation. Or what he could do is go, well, you know what, guys? You got 30 seconds left in the last round here. Battle it out, bitches. Go fuck off and shut the fuck up. Best man wins. You know? And guess what? Red Bull were clever enough to come in to the pit lane, get a fresh set of fucking tires, and move on and sort it out. Hamilton could have done the same at one stage. Now, here's the other reason why. Who gives a fuck? Hamilton got away with murder at so many races this year It was insanity, guys. It really was. So you know what? It swings around both ways. Hamilton got fucked at the last race. Yes, he did. And I'll even say that. And honestly, my heart did fucking go out to him quite a bit. I have to say that was an incredibly hurtful and incredibly painful. Just, he had the championship in his hand, and then, I mean, he literally had it. He could feel it. He could smell it. It was sinking in. This is it. It's all over. I've got the 8th World Championship, and it was literally stolen away from him. But at the start of the last race, if people remember, excuse me, Hamilton got a gap, which he shouldn't have got. In other words, Verstappen went to overtake him in the lead. He did on lap 1. And the two of them went wide. As far as I remember, the two of them went wide. Hamilton got a bit of a gap because he went on the extra bit of tarmac, which you're not allowed to do. Okay? So what does he have to do? Hamilton had to technically give up his space because he had an unfair advantage of overtaking Verstappen. Right? He has to give up the space and go, no, you didn't do it the fair way. You didn't pass him the fair way because he used the extra bit of tarmac that you don't use. Okay? And guess what happened? The FIA let him off the hook. It was ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. And quite honestly, that was enough of a gap to keep Verstappen out of the DRS range, keep that lead, and then just piss off into the lead. Now, fair enough, if Verstappen was quick enough, he could have kept him to a certain degree. But he didn't. So the problem was, guys, and Hamilton didn't even just get away with that. He got away with other shit during the year. And you know what? Verstappen got away with shit too. So it's just it was such a bizarre end. And it really shows what the safety car has to do in these situations. And it was incredibly tough. And guess what happened? The guy lost his fucking job. The FIA steward lost his fucking job. It just shows you how much power Mercedes have in Formula 1. There was no need to get rid of that guy. The same guy they fired let Hamilton away with fucking murder. Murder. Even at the last round when he had that unfair advantage, Verstappen overtook him. Hamilton went on the other end, the extra bit of tarmac, and he's in the lead now again. And the guy let him off. What you're meant to do is, like I said, give up the lead, go behind Verstappen in this case, and then you fight it out again. And he didn't. So, you know, guys, as much as Verstappen got him at the end, safety car rules were half deployed. But hey, Hamilton got unfair advantages anyway. So, yeah, that was one hell of a fucking showdown, that was. And if you haven't seen it, guys, check out Netflix Drive to Survive, will you? It's unbelievable. It really is, swear to God. All it takes is about 3, maybe 4 episodes to really get hooked. Okay? And, yeah, there's nothing more I can say about Netflix Drive to Survive. It's an unbelievable program. On Netflix, there's 5 seasons. Definitely check it out. So guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope that helps when you watch F1, and I will speak to you again. Bye.